Right, welcome back to another video. I am indeed Said, and this will be a roster confirmation changes. Essentially, I'm trying to get more involved in terms of doing roster videos, but we will see. It does depend. I'm trying to stay away from the room a lot, if potentially possible, only because of as much as something might be the case in 1 minute, like literally half an hour later, it's completely different. So there's still a lot of things that are ongoing in terms of roster changes at the moment. I think a lot of them have kind of been sorted, but it's just waiting on to be signed, sealed, and delivered. But we'll start with the important ones. So Method have added a two to the roster. They added Surreal and Crucial to replace Weber and Stanley. So the two come in. Surreal, formerly of Complexity, and prior to that some UK teams. He brings a lot of firepower. Personally, from when I used to watch him when he was playing, he used to absolutely decimate the UK scene before he moved to America. So I'm expecting good things from Surreal for sure. Crucial, previously with Defuse Kids, but had a 6-month stint with Splice as well and a variety of other teams. Crucial is again no stranger to the UK scene. He's participated in a whole host of UK events, won a whole bunch as well, and has always been a player that's performed very, very well. So, I mean, add these two to the existing of Jenko, Pulse, and Nilzinho, the raw firepower that you still get from Jenko, who just needs a bit more consistency in his game because he can have one game where he just goes off the wall and the next game not so much. The Pulse there as well. Poles for me is still one of the best UK players, but again probably lacks that bit of consistency in recent times. So hopefully he can get back to that top notch. But the experience that Pulse provides as well, as with the IGL of Nilzinho, who I expect will go back to the IGL role now that Weber has left, as Weber was, as far as I'm aware, taking the IGL role when they were actually playing matches, or at least it was a kind of dual role with him and Nilzinho. Weber, I'm not too sure where he's going at this moment, but between him and Stanley, I'd fully expect them to be involved in some form of Elite Series roster for next season. We'll drop onto the kind of the more interesting topic of the kind of day or yesterday when it happened. So Vexed have dropped Sheekey and Shaney. So a slightly baffling decision made by Vexed a week after winning I Series. They dropped the iconic duo in Sheekey and Shaney. So they've kept Vanity, Alumji, and Aussie. JT has also been released. JT was on the bench for a while, did go to I Series with the boys in order to help them out from a coaching and morale perspective. Shaney, as it currently stands, has actually just been dropped onto the bench while Sheekey has fully left. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Shaney in that particular one. But let's get into it. So the Vex lads got themselves into a good position. Things were starting to look a bit more positive for them guys. They were pretty much one of the best teams outside of the Gfinity Elite Series in the UK. And yeah, lo and behold, this happens. The bombshell gets dropped. So it definitely seems as if it wasn't the most amicable of splits. All the announcements, whether individually or from Vexed, came out around the same sort of time. Vexed went on to state in their statement that this decision was a very difficult one, but to make after long discussions between management and all players within the roster, we felt it was necessary to take this step. Now, in Sheekey's statement, he did say, "We had no idea this was happening, and I have just been informed after a contract review last night. I will be terminating my contract as I ain't sitting on a bench." Shaney's statement was also a bit like coming out in terms of a bit baffled as to why the decision had been made. And I mean, from what it's been said, it seems as if Vexed are trying to get a team to compete stronger within EU. They do already have an EU lineup as it currently stands, though, which is the even more baffling thing. So unless they're just trying to have two teams that can compete, well, I mean, I'd imagine it would be because if they can still keep the 3 UK players to enable them to participate within UK events and then add 2 EU in there to compete higher on an EU level. That's the kind of understanding that I have of it. But to be honest, I find it a bit baffling. From all the talk, it seems as if the decision from Vexed wasn't communicated until late with Sheekey and Shaney, but it does look as if the decisions were taken with the rest of the team in Vanity, Aussie, and Lumji. So from my standpoint, if you are wanting to take it to the next level and be more formidable within EU, firstly, I'd probably give the team that's just won the UK event a bit more of a chance rather than a week after the event for this to happen. And secondly, from what I've seen from both Sheekey and Shaney, between them, they have been the better performers for Vex. So I do think that the remaining 3 that are there, as much as I think they are all good players, do I think they're strong enough to compete at a high enough EU level? dependent on who they bring in, but as a three, probably not. So it begs the question that if that was the motive behind the chance, I think it's pretty flawed. Yes, I do. Um, I can understand as to why they're maybe trying to make the decisions to go onwards and compete within the EU a little bit more, but I personally don't think those three that you've got remaining are going to be strong enough, removing Sheekey and Shaney, who are the better performers. Vanity, I think, is a very good player, but I do think he's still getting to grips with the team environment. I think that's going to take him some time in order to get there to compete at the kind of levels that people are expected off of him from the FPL scenarios. Ozzy and Limji, again, I do think both are very good players, but in terms of longevity on rosters, in terms of not getting pissed off, in terms of being good enough in the first place to actually participate on that EU level, I don't know. It remains to be seen. So, I mean, in a way, you have to say good luck to those guys, and hopefully it does work out. But at the same point, does look as if some shady dealings has gone on somewhere. Um, I did see a tweet longer come out of Vexed as well, from the Vexed owner as well, which, as far as I'm aware, got deleted soon after. Um, I mean, I know it was like there was a specific comment in there specifically relating to Shaney, saying he wasn't dropped down to skill performance or anything like that. So then it begs the question as to why was he dropped. Which, if it was the case and it is the road that they're going down, the EU road, that's fair enough in a way. But at the same point, I don't feel like this has been communicated to Sheekey and Shaney properly. I don't think it's been communicated overall properly. Personally, from all the things that like all things considered, I understand if you want to make the changes and better, sometimes it does need to be done. But either in this scenario, it's a rash decision that's been made, of which it's then in itself a bit stupid to say the least, especially a decision of this magnitude to remove your IGL, remove one of your more consistent players. And Shane, you have both been there from this Vex lineup from the start. Um, or that it's been one that's been planned for a while, which, if that is the case, then it means from a communication and PR standpoint, Vexed have fucked up completely. Um, because of, at the end of the day, it means they're going around all happy as Larry with the departing players as soon as they've won after LAN. Because I mean, I'm assuming their contracts have expired sort of after the I Series event, so around this time that the whole scenario has popped up. Um, to me, which just seems a bit weird considering how happy and ecstatic everyone from the Vexed party was that they won the light, that they won I Series and things were progressing. I do find it very weird in the way that that decision has been made. But I guess at the end of the day, it remains to be seen how they're necessarily going to perform onwards. All I can say is obviously shout out to Sheekey and Shaney. Very unfortunate for them, and hopefully they do manage to sort out something soon. In an ideal world, I would love to see those guys in the Elite Series as well, to give them a bit more of a chance and kind of get those two players who have been in the UK scene for a long period of time the chance to perform on that sort of level. Would be very nice. But from what remains to be seen from Vexed, not a flame on them at all. I have liked what I've seen from them in various instances, but the way that this decision has been made definitely begs some questions. But either way, that will be the end of this particular video. I will try and make sure that I am keeping up to date with various roster changes that are happening once they are confirmed. So yeah, obviously keep an eye out for those, but that will be it. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, hate, whatever it is you feel like doing today, my friends, and that will be the end of the video. So peace.